So let's say you're about to fly on WestJet's new 787 Dreamliner. Where is the best place to sit? Well, in the words of a WestJet 787 pilot,
just get a pod.
And you know what? I did exactly that. Hello everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back to another very special trip report. Today, I'm flying from Calgary, Alberta to Toronto, Ontario on WestJet's Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, but this time in their brand new lie-flat business class pod. If you're new to the channel, you might not have seen that I flew on their inaugural 787 flight back in February, and, well, it was a 9-across 787 in economy. But I recently had an opportunity to travel on WestJet 787 again, and I knew I couldn't pass up the chance to try their business class. Between Calgary and Toronto, upgrades are usually available at check-in for $100 from economy to premium and $300 from economy to business. In Calgary's domestic terminal, WestJet has a priority check-in desk for passengers traveling in their business or premium cabins, but just for the sake of time, I did it myself through the self-serve kiosks. Business class passengers are also able to use the priority line at security, which sped things up a bit, and I was past security in no time. Once I was through, I was able to visit the Chinook Lounge in Concourse A. The WestJetter at the desk complimented me on my choice of seat and told me that WestJet had recently taken over management of the lounge. In 2020, apparently, WestJet will have their own lounge. Can't wait to check that out once it's done. I was also told that they were just switching between breakfast and lunch, so the food selection wasn't as varied as it typically is. Regardless, there was enough food for a good lunch, plus lots of seating and an incredible view of downtown Calgary and the Rocky Mountains. This was actually the first time I've been to a lounge here in Calgary, and I really liked it. I'm looking forward to seeing WestJet's plans for their new one. For now, let's head to the gate.
Here, down the corridor at A5.
My Dreamliner is parked at gate A17, which is right at the end of Concourse A here in Calgary.
Good afternoon. Welcome to WestJet, Flight 670 to Toronto.
The aircraft I'm flying on today is WestJet's second 787, tail 902, and registered as Charlie Golf Uniform Romeo Papa. This Dreamliner was delivered from Boeing in mid-February and had its first revenue flight on March 11th, just a few weeks before I flew, so it really is a brand new aircraft.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. WestJet Flight 670 off to Toronto is Paige Sue Robinson and Barbara Simpson. If you hear your name, could you come over to gate?
Membre du programme de récompense or et platinum de WestJet.
I booked myself in seat 4D for this flight since all the windows were occupied and just had hopes that someone would trade. Waiting at each seat though is a pillow and blanket. Now, very fortunately for me, someone was willing to trade and I settled in seat 4A. My first impressions of the seat, well, the legroom here is beyond amazing. I'm 6'8", so I can attest there is a lot of space here, even for me, and I'm already very comfortable. The tray table slides from underneath the in-flight entertainment screen and folds out to reveal a lot of table space. On the left side of the seat, there's some storage space with two compartments. The smaller one has a mirror, and the other, larger one has more space and includes a universal power outlet, USB port, and triple-prong headphone jack. Also in here is a handheld remote for the in-flight entertainment system, and I'll go over that once we're in the air. On the right side is another armrest that can be raised and lowered for more space. Inside the armrest is even more storage space, including a water bottle and some headphones. There's a ton of privacy as well, with this fixed partition in place on the aisle side of the seats. Personally, I really like the little details like the hard edges on the magazine holder and the subtle WestJet deltas on the seat itself. The colors throughout the cabin are very WestJet, but they're also relaxing and not too bright. This boarding music is also a nice touch. Shortly after settling in, a cabin crew member came around to personally welcome me on board and asked what I'd like for a pre-departure drink. He also offered to explain the features of the seat, which I gladly accepted. Hot towels were also given out as boarding continued.
Sir, how are you today? I'm well, you? Excellent, thank you. Menu for today's flight will be around to take your order in a moment, and we'll be around with a complimentary drink as well. Sounds good. Perfect.
Let's take a look at the menu for today's flight, which is printed in both English and French. After some time to look the menu over, they took my order for today's meal service. Here's a look at the contents of the magazine pocket, which is over your shoulder. This includes the usual safety card, an air sickness bag, the March issue of the WestJet magazine, and finally, a pamphlet on the WestJet Rewards program. Before pushing back, WestJet's new safety video played, which I've seen some complaints about for some odd reason. Really though, it's wholesome and it gets the point across. For now, here's our departure from Calgary, starting up, taxiing, and taking off from runway 35 left. Now that we're airborne, let's take a look at the entertainment on today's flight. In business class, once you access the system, you'll see your name displayed on the screen. Since I traded seats though, my name was obviously not there, but still, a very nice touch. Business class passengers have this 18.5-inch touchscreen display, and the entertainment selection is the same across all three classes, so there is a lot to choose from no matter where you sit. My favorite part, as usual, is the moving map, which was very nicely done. It's easy to use and there's a lot of different options. The remote can also be used to interact with the map, as well as for scrolling through the entertainment selection. I have to say though, it's the small details like this that I really like. It makes the whole experience not just a business class flight, but a uniquely WestJet one. Hot towels were given out prior to serving meals, as well as my post-departure drink and some pretzels. Shortly afterwards, a cabin crew member came around with a tablecloth. One thing I really like is that I can just move the tray table forward and lower the armrest to get in and out of the seat easily, even during a meal service. The only downside to sitting in row 4 is that you're served last, so it does take a while for the meals to make their way to you. Before I get my meal, let's take a look at the headphones that WestJet's provided. Now, I'm obviously no expert, but these headphones were of pretty good quality. With them on, I could still hear things like overhead bins closing, but once I turned something on, they were totally fine. To be fair, the 787 is such a quiet aircraft anyway, so it doesn't matter as much. I ordered the shepherd's pie, which came with a bread roll and some cheese and crackers, as well as a salad of mixed greens and a vanilla bean mousse with an Nanaimo bar for dessert. The shepherd's pie was delicious and easily one of the best main courses I've ever had on a plane. WestJet's starting transatlantic services with the Dreamliners at the end of April, flying from Calgary to London Gatwick, followed by Calgary to Paris in May and Calgary to Dublin in June. Because this is still a domestic flight, the experience and the food on these long-haul flights will be different, if not even better. The only thing I didn't care too much for was the salad, but the dessert was absolutely delicious. That Nanaimo bar was just the perfect way to end a great meal, followed by this small piece of chocolate. Lots and lots of drinks were provided all throughout the flight in these specially branded WestJet glasses. With meal service done, I think it's about time we take a look at the seat's best selling point, the lie-flat bed. The controls are just below the storage compartments on the left side, and it takes about 30 seconds for the seat to go fully flat. In the fully flat position, I believe the seat is about 200 centimeters or about 6'7". Since I'm 6'8", I'm just a bit too tall and footroom is a bit limited, but it's understandable. Again, you know, these seats are designed with normal people in mind, so I really can't blame anyone. Despite the bed being a bit of a tight fit for me, with a few adjustments like sleeping on my side, it's perfect. The pillow and blanket that WestJet provides on this domestic flight are both very soft and comfortable. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be doing any sleeping. I just have to say I really love the atmosphere of the pod in the flat bed, both the amount of privacy and just how comfortable it is. Granted, this is coming from someone who's mostly flown economy his whole life, so this whole experience is just fantastic. Before descent, let's take a look at the lavatory. There's one at the very front for business class and two in the galley between the second set of doors for premium economy. The business class one has these interesting aromatic sprays as well as a bit more room. And like I mentioned the last time I flew through 787, here's the same color gradient on the walls made entirely of WestJet Deltas. One final feature that I thought was interesting, the window shades can also be controlled through the remote, and both of them operate as one window for lots of light. Sadly, all good flights must come to an end, and we started our descent into a very cloudy Toronto, landing on runway 05.
Gentlemen, as we taxi to the gate, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and all carrying baggage stowed to the aircraft is parked at the gate and the seatbelt sign is turned off.
So, for my overall thoughts on this flight. First off, as a Calgary native, I am very proud of WestJet for taking this big step and rebranding into a truly full-service carrier. Their business class cabin has been meticulously designed, and it's very clear that a lot of thought has gone into the whole experience. The seat was comfortable and spacious, the meal was delicious, the service was fantastic. I'm definitely running out of adjectives to properly describe this. My point is, this was probably the best Calgary to Toronto flight that I've ever had. Like I said earlier, the Dreamliners are flying from Calgary to London, Paris, and Dublin this summer, but there'll still be one flight a few times a week between Calgary and Toronto. So if you're flying that route and are willing to spend a bit more at check-in, you can just get a pod. Thank you very much for watching this trip report on WestJet's new 787 business class. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more aviation videos like this one. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next trip report.